Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. So today we are going to be, I'm treating today's show as a follow-up from last week, Thursday's show, when Mr. Pierre Depuch was the guest. And we were talking about the revelations contained in a book called The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and how that book talked about, these large corporations and superpower countries that prey on smaller developing nations by encouraging their leaders to take out these huge loans that they can't pay back, and then when they can't pay them back, they come back for a pound of flesh. And we see this happening all over the world. And that show received so much attention. I got such a huge feedback from that show that I thought it would be advantageous to do a sort of a part two. Because one of the questions that was asked during that show was, what can we do about it? And in the book, The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman, he actually dedicates 2 chapters to exactly answering that question. So that's what we're going to be talking about on the show today. Before we dive in, just in case you have a question or a comment to make, the telephone numbers to call are 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0272, 326-0272, and the WhatsApp line for messages or texts is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show. You can also check us out on our YouTube channels. And you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. And obviously by radio, Global 99.5 FM here in New Providence. You can also listen to us by radio in Grand Bahama. And finally, you can download the Global 99.5 FM app and check us out there. So however you do it, whether it be by radio or the app or YouTube or Facebook or cable, we're giving you lots of options. Tune in. Let everybody know the GPS is on the air. And we're going to be discussing a matter of importance to you. So I'm calling this show today From the Death Economy to a Life Economy. If you missed last week, Thursday's show, I highly recommend that you go back to our Facebook page and watch that show, because much of what was discussed in that show will help you to understand where we're coming from in this show. The author of that book is a gentleman by the name of John Perkins. And he went into very, very specific details about a system in which persons like himself would go into countries like ours, or countries in Latin America or Africa, wherever there's a country rich in natural resources. And his job was to inflate figures of the country's ability to borrow money based on the natural resources that they have. And then his job was to convince these leaders of these countries to take out these huge loans from places like the World Bank, based on inflated figures that he would have included in his report as to the country's ability to pay back these loans. And then when they find themselves in a position, and a key component of this plan was that they would have to hire U.S. companies to build up all of the infrastructure as a part of the agreement. So all of the money that they were borrowing, it didn't stay within the country except for a few very rich families. It would filter right back out of the country into the hands of these U.S. corporations. And he showed in the book, I'm just bringing you up to speed in case you missed last week, Thursday show. He showed in the book the level of depth that these plans were orchestrated. I'm talking to the very highest offices in the land of the United States of America, all the way up to the presidency and the CIA and many others who benefit financially from this system. And if for some reason a leader of a country where they're trying to implement this system resists, they would get rid of that leader one way or the other, either by way of assassination or by a coup where they would overturn that particular leader, that particular leader's government, and take it over and then put somebody in there, a puppet leader, who wouldn't give them any pushback. So if you haven't already done so, because I encouraged you to go and get the book, it's called The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Now, since then, John Perkins has come out with a third edition of the book. So in this new third edition, which I haven't had an opportunity to read yet, it will be the same thing included in the second edition, but with an additional 13 chapters. And in the third edition of the book, he is looking at how China is pretty much taken over from the United States in perfecting this economic model, which he calls a death economy. So in the show today, we're going to be talking about how to transform from a death economy to a life economy. Because as he so brilliantly laid out, that way of doing things is not sustainable. And it's good for a couple of families, wealthy families. It's good for the corporations in the large countries that are putting this pressure on the smaller countries, but it's not good for the people of the smaller countries or the impoverished countries. It's not good for the people. It's not good for the environment. The only ones who benefit are the few families that own the infrastructure in these countries and big corporations in the United States. And in this new edition of the book, he is talking about the fact that the Chinese are now quickly replacing the Americans, but doing it better than the Americans did. So I'm going to begin today's show by looking at a clip. And in this clip, John Perkins talks about the importance of transforming from the death economy to what he calls a life economy.
The drive of empire builders to dominate their world has gone on for thousands of years. But it took a new turn in the 1970s when I was an economic hitman. The war in Vietnam, the debacle of Vietnam, pretty much proved that this could no longer be done through military forces. And so the idea was to dominate economically. And my job was to identify countries with resources our corporations wanted, like oil or minerals, other resources, and then to arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sister organizations. The money had to go to our own corporations to build big infrastructure projects in that country, like electric power systems and industrial parks, things that benefited a few wealthy families in those countries, as well as our own corporations that made big profits. But it put the countries into deep debt. And then we basically owned them. They became part of our empire. We could dictate to them at what prices they would sell the resources that our corporations wanted. We could tell them to vote with us at the United Nations against Cuba or something else and let us build a military base on their soil. We were extremely good at this. But now, along comes China. In this new book that I've written, which is really the third edition of the Confessions of an Economic Hitman series, this one focuses on China's strategy. And China has learned from the mistakes that I and other economic hitmen from the United States made, and also from our successes. So China's doing a much more effective job. It's taken over much of the world. It is the #1 trading partner, the #1 investor in countries all over the world: Africa, Latin America, the Middle East, Asia, even Europe, even the United States. And so China has really come to dominate this whole process. They have taken this economic hitman strategy to new levels. But what's important is to understand that no matter who uses this economic hitman strategy, whether it's the United States or China, it doesn't matter. It's taking us into destruction. It's taking us to climate change, income inequality, species extinction, environmental destruction. Those are all symptoms of the death economy, an economic system that's polluting and consuming itself into extinction. And it's run by one goal alone, and that is to maximize short-term profits and materialistic consumption. That's the goal of the United States as economic hitman. That's the goal of China's economic hitman. And so what we need to understand is this has to end. We're headed toward the precipice as humans on this planet. We've got to turn this around. And we've got to transform the death economy to a life economy. We are at an incredible time in human history. I feel blessed. We all should feel blessed. You should feel blessed that you're alive at this time where we have these huge challenges, but also an incredible opportunity to redefine, to redirect what it means to be human beings, being on this planet, this incredibly beautiful planet that we're inheriting, and that we have a responsibility to pass on to future generations. We are at this incredible time in human history. Let's feel so blessed to be part of it. Thank you.
So again, today's show is going to be looking at how do we do that? How do we transform from this death economy that has been imposed upon us to a life economy? That's what we're going to be talking about today. We have a caller on the line already. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Malcolm,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. That is the reason why you need a government that will not always have their hand out, ready to receive gifts. And if you could find that, but when you have a government that want gift from other big nations, and they keep on giving you, they give you like things for your hospital, your dialysis machine. Then they give you for police cars. Then they give you patrol boats and stuff like that. When you reach out to them, they just they dishing out to you. So they control you. Because I recall Ambassador one time on the show, not this show, he told the host, if y'all don't do this, then it will be no more gift coming to your country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So now we see China playing the same road. Look what China do. Look at the road by Bahama. Look at the gym. Other things that they do. And it costs them nothing. They just want to do it because they know they can control you. And they control the government because the decision the government want to make, he can't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So they tell you how to run even, look at what they did the other day, the prison, all of the toilet bowl and different teams, they got to clean up there and dig up and like that's a whole new thing that the American system now put a pressure on them that they have to do these things. So even if they don't want to do it, they will lend you the money to do these things. Because why? They know now you are loyal to them, and however they control you, you like a puppet. However whatever they say, you have to do. And when you don't do it, and you want to take a stand, it's okay. We can move you. So what they start doing, they start writing bad reports, letting their tourists, letting their people know, don't go such and such a place. There's plenty crime there. And the next thing, and when you look, you start seeing your tourists start staying home, and the people, your people now, start to complain. Oh, the government ain't doing this. Oh, the tourists, tourists come in the hotel. Tourists. So it's more pressure on the government because what they trying to do now is to stabilize you. They trying to put the pressure on you now. You don't want about us? Okay. We can recall our people home and we can do this. So that's the way it is. So if you don't can't stand up against them, they move you. And when they move you, they put their man in place to run the country like how they want it to be. So we have to be careful how we receiving gifts and things.
Well, one of the things I want you to allow me to continue with the show, caller, because what we're going to be revealing in this show is that it takes more than just a good government leader, but it takes a people
Right.
who are willing to do their part as well. And if you give me an opportunity, I will lay out how we as individuals can do our part to fight against this.
Right.
All right?
Okay.
So thanks for calling.
Okay.
All right. So in the New Confessions of an Economic Hitman, Perkins dedicated, I think, 2 chapters to what we as individuals can do, individually and collectively, to fight against this. It's not enough for us to stand by and say, I mean, awareness is the beginning. Because I will tell you the truth, until I read the book, we could all speculate when we see things happening like the sale of our utility companies and many other things that are happening that we question. Well, why would the government make such a decision? You know something ain't right there, but you can't quite put your finger on it. But this book helped to open my eyes in terms of why decisions have been made, not just here in the Bahamas, I believe, but around the world, in Africa and the Caribbean and Latin America, where people's, the hands of these leaders were really pretty much shackled. They do it or else. But there is something that we as a collective can do to fight back. And that is what today's show is all about. So in the book, The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman, John Perkins provides a list of things that can be done that is meant to stimulate you to come up with your own plan of action, that we all can play a role in fighting back. Because, as he so well pointed out in that last clip that I played, it's not sustainable for us to continue down this road. The rich become richer, the poor become poorer, the nation, the country is stripped of its resources, and it's not sustainable. And at the end of the day, the masses suffer while only a handful of people benefit. But at the end of the day, we all suffer, because if you destroy the earth, I don't care how much money you have. There's only so much money can buy. So we're going to be talking today about what we can do to fight back, to transform this death economy to a life economy. And you'd be surprised at some of the things that you and I can do to help to encourage this. So in this list, Perkins is encouraging you to not see it as a complete list, but really pretty much being inspired to see what fits with your lifestyle, with your interests, with your passions, and incorporating these things into your daily life. And so, this is what we all have to pay attention to nowadays, because we can't rely on our leaders to stand up and say no. And pretty much, in essence, we can't expect them, I think, to carry that burden on their own shoulders if we are not willing to back them when they do stand up. Because as powerful as these companies and countries believe that they are, there are more of us, the general citizen, than there are of them. And yes, they have the power, and yes, they have the money. But especially nowadays, if sufficient people come together and make enough noise, these corporations back off, because they realize that there's nothing worse than bad publicity when it comes to their bottom line. So yeah, they got the money and they got the power, but we have the power when it comes to our collective, and key word here is collective action. It can't be where we expect one man, one woman to be a hero, and we sit back and we expect to do nothing and then have that one person take on the burden. No, this has to be a collective effort. And that is what we're going to be talking about on the show today. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to start looking at these things that we can do as outlined by Perkins. And we also have pull some clips throughout the show. We'll play throughout the show that'll help to break it down even further as to how we can transform from a death economy to a life economy. So stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors. And I promise you it's going to get good.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after...
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Less is love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Youngevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. Today we're talking about how to transform from a death economy to a life economy. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages or calls is 801-0271. 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm or Global 99.5 FM page. We're also streaming live to our YouTube channels. And you can catch us on Cable Bahamas, channel 974. And you can also download the Global 99.5 FM app and check us out there. On radio, 99.5 FM here in New Providence. Also airing in Grand Bahama. A huge welcome to our audience from that island. Okay, so in case you tuned in late, today's show is about transforming from a death economy to a life economy. This is a follow-up show to last week's Thursday show when we had Pierre Depuch on, and we were talking about the findings of a book called The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman that talks about a global system by which countries, smaller developing countries, are pretty much strong-armed into putting themselves in huge debt to the benefit of a small group of people. And then when you find yourself in a position where you can't pay it back, now we own you, coming for a pound of flesh. So for those of you who are sports lovers, we all know, let's say track and field as an example. We Bahamians love track and field, and we get the concept. You have, especially if it's an international event, you have all these countries lining up at the starting line, and then the guy shoots off the gun and everybody breaks off running. And the goal is to finish the race cleanly and get across the finish line first. That's the goal, right? But there's a race going on now between China and the United States. And as John Perkins puts it, it's a race to destruction. And the difference between, say, a track and field race, a track, say the 400 meters or the 100 or 200 meters, is that somebody's going to win that race. But in this particular race, there are no winners.
This book actually gets into the new wave of economic hitmen, which is the Chinese economic hitmen, who are following basically the same strategy, but they've learned from our mistakes and our successes and are outmaneuvering us on every continent. They haven't overthrown governments or assassinated leaders, with the possible exception of in their own territory, what they consider to be part of their historical region, Tibet and Taiwan and Hong Kong and that area. But they do practice all the debt trap economics that I mentioned earlier. However, they have a certain benefit in that they have an amazing marketing tool, and that is their story. They can tell the world that for about 30 years, they had economic growth of around 10% a year. Yes, it's decreased, but they had 10% economic growth for 30 years, and they brought more than 700 million people out of poverty, more than the rest of the world combined. That's a pretty amazing story. No other country has that. And they also tell these countries that they're connecting them with the new Silk Road, the Belt and Road Initiative, which means that countries like Ecuador or any country in South America or Africa is being told that China's going to help them build ports and airports and things that will connect them with the whole world, not just with their neighbors or not just a bilateral agreement between China and this country, as we did between the United States and the countries that we worked in. So they have a very good story to tell, and it's particularly attractive to countries in Africa and parts of Latin America and the Middle East and Asia that are used to the colonialism of Europe and the United States throughout history. I think it's fair to say, and this is the main theme of the book, that China and the United States are locked in a race, in a competition to dominate the world economically. And it's a race to disaster. It's taken us to the precipice. We've created what many economists and I refer to as a death economy, a degenerative system that is consuming and polluting itself into extinction. In the short term, it's using up, depleting all the resources that it needs for the long term. Mm-hmm. It is actually, too, the cause of climate change, species extinctions, income inequality. So many of the crises we face, we've got to end it and create a life economy, an economic system that's regenerative, that cleans up pollution, pays people to clean up pollution, pays people to rejuvenate destroyed environments, to recycle, to create more technologies like solar and wind and things we haven't even conceived of yet that don't ravage the earth. So the main message here is that, there may be a race here, but there are no winners on a dead planet. And that's where this race is taking us. So we must turn this around.
I thought that was so powerful. There are no winners on a dead planet. I thought that was so powerful. So, in other words, as much money as you think you can make, and you don't care who you destroy to make that money. If the planet that you are living on dies, what good is that money to you? Now, maybe you could join, those wealthy fellas and jump on a spaceship and go to another planet. But so far, they haven't developed any colonies over there. So this is the only one we have right now, this planet Earth. And if you destroy this in pursuit of your wealth, what good is that money to you? So on today's show, we're going to be looking at alternatives and what we can do, you and I, to try to put a stop to this. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
God bless you, Michelle. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I do have indeed a suggestion as to what we as Bahamians can do to, as Mr. Perkins put it, create a life economy. Mm-hmm. But before I do, I just wanted to mention that in respect to the recordings on YouTube, it is difficult to locate any particular topic. Reason being is because the topic or the day that the show is aired is not labeled on YouTube. It just says Michelle Malcolm and 2 days ago, 4 days ago, a week ago, a month ago. So it's hard to honestly identify what's out there.
Okay.
Yeah. That being said, Michelle, I was inspired, God inspired my heart some years ago with this concept I call the National Development Corporation. Mm-hmm. And it's a simple concept, Basically using the principle of everybody working together for the common good of all. Mm-hmm. And this is how it works, or would work. Let's use our last census, 400,000 Bahamians, right? Mm-hmm. We establish a corporation, somebody who would have the financial means to start it off in terms of incorporating it, would set it up. Every single Bahamian gets one share. You don't have to put anything up except $1. Okay, you invest $1. Now, Michelle, if you have 400,000 people investing $1 each every month, That is $4,800,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
What could be done with that money is so many things. I haven't worked out all the details yet, but I will do just that. Because what Mr. Perkins said in terms of creating a life economy is speaking to self-empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
When you and I are able to do for ourselves and not having to depend on anybody, that's called financial independence, eh?
Right.
And a lot of the rich people in this world are happy to let others know that they are financially independent. They're telling you, in other words, they are not depending on you whether or not you support them or like them or whatever. They can do without you if they choose to.
Mm-hmm.
But yet those are the same people who got wealthy on the sweat and tears of your hard-earned money.
Mm-hmm.
So I very much like the idea of creating a life economy, Michelle. And the thing that also came to my mind, a sovereign wealth fund.
Mm-hmm.
The Davis administration doesn't seem to be keen on establishing a sovereign wealth fund wherein Bahamians get a dividend every year or a check every year from that fund. I don't know why governments in this country seem to have a problem with putting up such a sovereign wealth fund up. But my thing is, when you empower people, when the citizens of any country feel that they belong to the country and that the country belongs to them, and they have a part in the economic wealth of the country, people are going to end up taking more care to it and more pride in it. And I'll conclude on this note. I like that saying again. I mean, that you and that Mr. Perkins mentioned and you repeated. Nobody can survive on a dead planet.
Exactly.
Thank you, my dear. And as I develop that concept, a National Development Corporation concept, I'll share more of it with you.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, JT. All right. So let's look at these recommendations as to what you and I can do. Number one, keep telling a new story. One that is based, and I'm taking this directly from his book, The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Keep telling a new story, one that is based on creating an environmentally sustainable, resource regenerative, socially just world where one group of people does not make other groups of people desperate. How about that? The key here is love, obviously. If you love each other, you love yourself, you love your planet, then we will all do what we have to do to protect ourselves, but not just ourselves, our fellow man, our planet, etc. So going back to what the book says, this is about cleaning up pollution and regarding our planet as a living being, helping starving people grow, store, and transport food more efficiently, living less materialistic and more spiritually fulfilling lives, developing new technologies for energy, transportation, communications, banking, and wholesale and retail trade, bringing diverse communities together with the understanding that we all live on a fragile space station that has no escape shuttles. Talking about planet Earth here. In other words, tell the story of converting a death economy to a life economy. Spread the story every chance you get to as many people as you can. Talk, write, make videos, offer study groups, do whatever it takes. Young people especially, you guys have this tremendous opportunity because this is the age of TikTok and Instagram and all these other social media platforms that you use so brilliantly for other things. How about using some of that space for something constructive? Because there's no shortage of absolute stupidity available on these platforms. If you want something stupid that will waste your time Oh, you only got to open it up and you will find an abundance of stupidity. How about we use those platforms to do exactly what Perkins is suggesting, to build, to create something meaningful, to change the narrative. Because, nowadays with social media, I know it's all about likes and followers. And, the more likes and followers you get, the more your status goes up. And, I guess a lot of young people think the only way to do that is to, be trivial and put foolishness out there. And every now and again, everybody needs a good laugh or a little distraction. I'm not saying that you should totally eliminate that, but my God, dedicate some of that space to something constructive, something that's going to benefit your planet, something that's going to improve the lives of others. Because nobody can survive on a dead planet. And nowadays, they monetize much of the space that, the social media space and platforms. So who knows? Right now, you are relying on, for the most part, trivial stuff. But that is not to say that something more meaningful can't go viral as well. We need to use the spaces that we have to spread the story every chance we get to as many people as we can. And young people, I am throwing out a challenge to you to help do that. Because, if you go with the natural order of things, the older we get, the less time we can have on this earth. I'm not going to be here in another 40 years. Unless, God really smiles at me and I live to be 100. But you got to think about this planet you have to live on. And, all things considered equal, you're going to be here a lot longer than I have time left. And others in my age group. So why not use what you have to try to protect and build this planet? Because you got more time to be here, that I do if we go according to the natural order of the lifespan. So every chance you get, talk, write, make videos, do something constructive with the spaces that you have. And I dare say that that could make a difference because, like I say, nowadays, these big corporations realize we don't want no negative publicity. Back in the day of John Perkins' time, they pretty much didn't care. But now, the least little bit of negative publicity, and they backtracking a bit. They ain't want that. So how would you use the space for something constructive? The next thing that you and I can do, we can shop and invest consciously. Going back to the book, replace recreational and mindless shopping tendencies with activities that truly nourish you and those you love. When you must shop, buy locally, as well as at consignment and thrift shops. Make things last. Buy goods and services from and invest in businesses that are committed to making a better world. No one is perfect, so seek out the ones that are doing the best in their field. Email them about the good things they are doing, encouraging them to get even better. Trust me, they thrive on that feedback. Also, email the businesses that you avoid, telling them why you refuse to patronize them. Insist that any organizations and pensions or other funds that you are part of do the same. Put your money to good use. Don't just buy and spend mindlessly. There's a really interesting thing in the book about Walmart. Oh, you know us Bahamians, we love up a Walmart. But if you read about the backstory of Walmart, you'll think twice before you walk in there to spend your money. Because you could very well be encouraging something that you don't want to be a part of. But because we don't take the time to learn about the corporations we are supporting, we just know we like Walmart, we spend our money mindlessly. But if they get sufficient people, and I dare say Bahamians make up a lot of their, the source of their revenue. If they get sufficient people reaching out to them and saying, you got to do better in this area, or we will stop supporting you. Trust me. They get enough people doing that, they will listen, because they don't want to lose that revenue that you provide for them when you walk in there and spending your money at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever time you walk in there. So it takes some work on your part to understand who it is you're supporting. What are they really about? Is that something that I want to be a part of? And if it's not, if your conscience does not allow you to know what these people are up to and still shop with them, then don't. Find somebody else who is not harming other human beings or harming the planet to spend your money with. You have control over who you spend your money with. But if they see that you really don't give, well, you know what? Why should they stop? Why should they stop? And when I say that, I'm not just talking about Walmart, but any big corporation. Why should they stop polluting when they know you ain't gonna care anywhere anyway, and you can come spend your money with them? Because at the end of the day, it's small, low-lying states like ours that have to worry most about climate change. They don't care. They good. But you could find yourself being a refugee seeking higher land if our islands get swallowed up by an ever-swelling ocean as a result of climate change. So put pressure on them, because it's impacting you and will impact your children and your grandchildren. What kind of world are we leaving for them? And if you don't care now, trust me, you're part of the problem. So put pressure on them to do right. Believe me, if sufficient people do that, they will listen. Tip number 3, live consciously. Focus on doing things that embrace your relationship with other people, your community, and the world around you, including honoring nature in whatever form it takes in your locale. Break all patterns that revolve around materialism and buying stuff. Downsize your house, your car, your wardrobe, bicycle, or take public transportation. Avoid activities that use fossil fuel. Give talks at local schools, libraries, and other forums. Live consciously. If you need to go to a store, for instance, and the store is right down the street from you, why you got to jump in your car to drive there? When you could easily take a walk, get what you need, and walk back home. We've come to the place now where it's almost like you ashamed to be seen walking in the street to go someplace. And there's no need for that. One of the things that I do personally is I believe in conserving electricity. So I believe in turning off lights that aren't serving any purpose being on. What do I mean by that? I walk into the kitchen, I turn on the light, I get what I need. As I'm leaving, I turn the light back off. I don't leave the light on just for the sake of leaving it on. You're wasting electricity. And at the end of the day, with these prices BPL coming up with, you are putting money that could easily go someplace else. But because you don't care or don't seem to be aware of the fallout of leaving that light on, you leave a light on, burning all night for nothing. And then when your light bill come, oh my God, these bills, these prices are so high, and somebody got to do something with BPL. How about you taking a stand and turning off things that don't need to be on. You would be amazed at how much money you would be left with in your hand that could go elsewhere. You'd be amazed at the blessing you already have in your hand that you are spreading thin because you're not doing a simple thing like turning off a light. If you take showers, instead of turning on the shower, just letting the water run for 15 minutes while you could do other things. No, man, that's wasteful. We don't have to be living like that, because once you waste that water, it's only, you got to understand that there's only so much natural resources available in any particular land. Even things that replenish itself, that don't mean that you have the right to go and just pillage, because eventually you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to need and you're not going to have because you would have wasted what you had. So something as simple as shutting off a light, you would be amazed at the difference that makes, not just on your pocketbook, but on planet Earth as a whole. Something as simple as that. So live consciously, people. And I guarantee you, if you do that, and if everybody did that, we would see a change. And the companies that are seemingly operating without conscience would take note. So I want to encourage you to start doing that today. Okay, we're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to look more about what you and I can do to transform from a death economy to a life economy. That's what we're talking about on today's GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global paradigm shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. We are looking at how to transform from a death economy to a life economy. The telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for calls and messages is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm pages, also streaming live on our YouTube channels. And you can catch us here on Cable Bahamas, channel 974, and also by the Global 99.5 FM app. Download it to your smart device and check us out there. You can catch us on radio, Global 99.5 FM here in New Providence, and also a huge welcome to our listeners coming all the way from Grand Bahama. So as I said at the top of the show, in case you're joining us late, this is a follow-up show to the show we did last week, Thursday, with Pierre Depuch. If you haven't already listened to that show, please go ahead and do so, or watch it on Facebook or YouTube, because that show will open your eyes to some serious stuff as it relates to global influences that are, for want of a better word, encouraging leaders of smaller nations and developing nations to adopt certain policies, and the types of pressure that they put on these leaders to do so. And this is why I often say on the show, we don't need another hero, because we often hear people complaining about, well, they sign off on these agreements and we don't know what they sign off on. This is true. And this is why we all need to be active participants in encouraging these big businesses and superpower countries to back off, because there's more of us than them. And they get away with it because the masses, whether in their country or other countries, don't stand up collectively and say no. So it's not enough for us to all stand back and wait for our one leader or leaders to have the courage to stand up and say no, but we all have to be a part of this fight. And there's some things that you and I can do easily to do just that. So what John Perkins, the author of the Confessions of a Hitman series of books, calls what he calls a life economy. There's another terminology for it. And you may have heard about a circular economy. The concept is the same, whereby, as opposed to creating an economy where only a handful of people benefit and the masses, as well as planet Earth, do not benefit, there is a movement where people are now calling for us to rethink progress by embracing what is known as a circular economy. Circular economy, life economy, same difference, like we say. So check this out. This is more about rethinking progress and embracing what is known also as a circular economy.
Living systems have been around for a few billion years and will be around for many more. In the living world, there's no landfill. Instead, materials flow. One species' waste is another's food, Energy is provided by the sun, things grow, then die, and nutrients return to the soil safely. And it works. Yet as humans, we've adopted a linear approach. We take, we make, and we dispose. A new phone comes out, so we ditch the old one. Our washing machine packs up, so we buy another. Each time we do this, we're eating into a finite supply of resources and often producing toxic waste. It simply can't work long term. So what can? If we accept that the living world's cyclical model works, can we change our way of thinking so that we too operate a circular economy? Let's start with the biological cycle. How can our waste build capital rather than reduce it? By rethinking and redesigning products and components, and the packaging they come in, we can create safe and compostable materials that help grow more stuff. As they say in the movies, no resources have been lost in the making of this material. So what about the washing machines, mobile phones, fridges? We know they don't biodegrade. Here, we're talking about another sort of rethink, a way to cycle valuable metals, polymers, and alloys so they maintain their quality and continue to be useful beyond the shelf life of individual products. What if the goods of today became the resources of tomorrow? It makes commercial sense. Instead of the throw away and replace culture we've become used to, we'd adopt a return and renew one, where products and components are designed to be disassembled and regenerated. One solution may be to rethink the way we view ownership. What if we never actually owned our technologies? We simply licensed them from the manufacturers. Now, let's put these two cycles together. Imagine if we could design products to come back to their makers, their technical materials being reused and their biological parts increasing agricultural value. And imagine that these products are made and transported using renewable energy. Here we have a model that builds prosperity long term. And the good news is, there are already companies out there who are beginning to adopt this way of working. But the circular economy isn't about one manufacturer changing one product. It's about all the interconnecting companies that form our infrastructure and economy coming together. It's about energy. It's about rethinking the operating system itself. We have a fantastic opportunity to open new perspectives and new horizons. Instead of remaining trapped in the frustrations of the present, with creativity and innovation, we really can rethink and redesign our future.
But the bottom line is this: to do that, to encourage not just a handful of companies to go in that direction, but all, requires, again, a collective effort. Because for all of them, the bottom line is the bottom line, how much money they're going to make at the end of the day. And obviously, they want to do it the cheapest way that they can. So they really, many of them don't care about the environment, don't care about how it's impacting you, how, whether or not they are contributing to climate change, or whether or not by dumping wastewater in our waters, they're affecting the health of Bahamians, for instance. They don't care. They don't care. The only thing they care about is the bottom line, their pocket. So if we as a collective come together and we start to impact that bottom line, trust me, they will perk up real fast and straighten up real fast. Because for them, it's all about the money. But as long as you continue to support a particular company, even though, as an example, they dumped crop water in your ocean, but you like going on a cruise on that particular company, so you continue to support it. Why should they change? Why should they do better? You have to start to think along these lines. There are more of us than there are them. And for them, it's only about the bottom line. So if they see that they can lose money by not changing, trust me, they will change. But if you ain't willing to do that, then get used to living on a dying planet. So going back to the recommendations of Perkins in the book, the next thing that he recommends that we can do, you and I, is to pick a cause. Pick a cause that appeals to your deepest passions and support it on a regular basis. This could be changing a corporation, such as Monsanto. And those of you who aren't familiar with Monsanto, they are one of the biggest companies out there as it relates to genetically modifying foods. It could be Chevron oil company. It could be Walmart, or promoting a movement, radio station, or blogger, nonprofit, or non-government organization. Give it your attention every day in the form of time and energy, even if only for a few minutes. Or money. Put your money where your mouth is. Right? If you use social media to let all your friends know what you are doing, that can help. Craft emails and letters about your cause. Distribute them frequently to your social media contacts. Ask them to distribute those as well to all of their social media contacts and so on. Let's make it go viral. Because like I said earlier, when it comes to mindless stupidity, we ain't got no problem making that go viral. So how about you using that social space for something constructive? Pick a cause and promote that cause and support that cause and encourage others to do the same. Because not all of us will have the same cause. Some people, are moved by, for instance, the commercials they see of, animals being mistreated. And they say, for $19 a month, you could help save a hurting animal. Well, for some people, they're going to be moved by that. Other people are going to watch that and say, man, you got people starving. And they rather put their $19 towards helping some starving child in some country. Whatever the cause, just pick one. The point is there's enough causes to go around that if we all picked a cause, we could make this world a better place. We could improve our planet. Pick a cause and then promote that cause. Uplift that cause, support that cause. Put your money where your mouth is. All right. Next one. Become part of a living local community. Use local banks that invest in local projects, local merchants, locally owned restaurants as much as possible. Buy food that is locally and organically grown. I will repeat that. Buy food that is locally and organically grown. My God, can't we do that here in the Bahamas? How many farmers right now are out there watching their produce rot because these food stores refuse to support them and rather import things from big corporations in the United States, which don't taste as good as ours anyway, and will have traveled for so far and so long that the nutritional value in them, whatever was in them to begin with, is not nearly as much as if you buy that from one of your fellow local farmers or from one of our family island farmers. Buy local. Okay? It tastes better at the end of the day. I would much prefer a locally grown banana than one from one of those big banana corporations that have been gassed to look bright and yellow and really don't have as much flavor. A friend of mine was selling some Eleuthera pineapples the other day. My God, when you cut into that thing, the juice, I say, oh my God, this is so good. Support your local farmers. Grow your own food. Let's stop spending all this money importing these poisons that Monsanto and others are pushing on us. And we want to know why we have so much sickness and disease in this country. Buy local, okay? Let's see what else it says here. Use materials and goods that are local and or environmentally and socially responsible. Create community gardens and urban green spaces. Encourage everyone you know to do the same. Let's see. I lost my space there for a second, just finding it back. Yeah. Encourage everyone you know to do the same. Vote for enlightened school or other local leaders. Join or form groups that bring people together to have fun doing such things. Bicycle, nature, book, change the world clubs. Be creative. All right? There are multiple things that you can do, but it all begins with that first step. So become a part of a living local community. Next thing you can do, flood media outlets, corporate executives, and government officials with information about the need to move from a death economy to a life economy. Do this locally, nationally, and internationally, or all three. So you can do this locally, nationally, or internationally, or do all three. Trust me. You may say, well, it's just one of me. Why should they listen? Yeah. But if enough one of us decide to do that, again, for them, it's really all about that bottom line. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. But if you come together as a strong group, as a force, they will stop and take note. Believe that. They ain't gonna lose no money. And if you are the ones who's spending money, they realize they can lose your business, and it's enough of y'all crying out, they will listen. One or two, not so much. But if everybody starts to make noise, trust me, they will take notice. Next thing you can do, support reform movements that most appeal to you. These will be country and community dependent activities to encourage geopolitical, economic, and social reforms. Demand such things as guaranteed living wages and or employment, health insurance, medical care, and retirement pensions. There's been talk about raising the the minimum wage. We need to start demanding such thing as a guaranteed living wage, because you could increase the minimum wage today, but if the if inflation continues to impact your economy and prices of everything keeps going up, but your wage is stuck within a stuck within a minimum wage category that isn't matching the reality of the world you live in, you still got a problem. So how about we start promoting a livable wage? Now, that's a dirty word to the business community. They ain't trying to hear that. They ain't trying to hear that. Their goal is to make profit as much as possible without spending as little as possible, right? That's their goal. But if by doing so, they are destroying our planet, we go back to the question, can anybody thrive on a dying planet? There's only so much your money could do for you. So if you're destroying the planet, so what you got plenty money at the end of the day. So we need to encourage them to start thinking along these lines, because many of them ain't thinking beyond themselves. Me and mine good, so to hell with the rest of y'all. So we need to encourage them, because a rising tide rises all boats. So if everybody has and is making more money, that's more money to spend in your businesses, as opposed to you hoarding it all for yourself, making it difficult for anybody else to survive or thrive. And at the end of the day, you still can't make the money because the people ain't got no money to spend in your business. It doesn't make sense. So we need to start encouraging or pushing for a livable wage. Okay? Next, let's see. Where are we? Encourage the creation of local, national, and international parks. Wildlife preserves and other such areas. If you live in an urban setting or a rundown area, organize people to turn vacant lots into parks and playgrounds. Spend quality time in these places and encourage everyone you know to do the same. We need more green spaces, especially in the inner city community. When I was growing up, there were such spaces available to us in abundance. And you would be amazed at what that exposure to nature and green spaces can do for the psyche of a person. But if all you see around you is garbage and, old broken down cars, and, you don't see any kind of nature that you can connect with, all of that impacts your mental well being. So we definitely need more parks and green spaces available, especially for our children, where they can run and play and breathe in good, clean air. And so we ought to encourage companies to support such spaces, encourage the creation of such spaces nationally, locally, and internationally. And you'd be amazed at how just something as simple as that would help to transform our collective psyche. But if you're in a concrete jungle, or you're in a jungle surrounded by refuse and waste, that impacts the way you think. I was pulling out of the corner, leaving church the other day, and there was this small vacant lot near the corner. And I just happened to look over. I was like, my God, I mean, just garbage. I'm like, who are the nasty people who keep dumping garbage in this spot? Does this look like a place where you need to be putting garbage? And don't you see how that is impacting the mindset of the people in your community? You can just stand by and allow people to just dump all over you, because that's what they're doing. They tell you exactly what they think of you and your surroundings. And if you're one of the people who's guilty of doing that, you need to stop. Because that garbage is impacting people's psyche. If you're surrounded by garbage, eventually you can start to feel like the garbage you are surrounded by. Let's take pride in our surroundings. That ain't gonna take nothing off of you to throw that thing in a garbage can. And if you are a corporation that want to do something to give back, how about putting some, garbage bins, the large one, in various communities that people can dump their garbage into? How about we encourage beautification competitions within our constituencies, where people take pride in their community and in their surroundings? Who are we as a people? How have we come to this place where we become so nasty as a people? We should take pride in our surroundings. Let's get that back. So, yeah, look at how we can encourage a cleaner, greener space that our children can enjoy, that we can enjoy. All right? Next thing we can do is we can fight for campaign finance reform. Oh, that's a big one. And or climate change regulations. Join organizations that encourage this activity. We know here in the Bahamas, this is a big problem. Not just in the Bahamas, though. But, when you go into these people with your hand out to help you get elected, they ain't just giving you that money, as you well know, because they so love you or they so believe in the ideals that you pushing. Oh, no. They coming back with their pound of flesh. You know this. So if you don't have enough sense, or if you so power hungry that you're willing to sell your soul just to get in that House of Assembly, then maybe we as a collective need to make it easier for you to do the right thing. How do we do that? Campaign finance reform. We need to know who's giving you all this money so we could pay closer attention to whether or not you're giving them any favors at the end of the day that won't benefit us as a collective, so we can protect ourselves. If you don't have the conscience to do it, we need to be your conscience. So yeah, people, we need to push real hard for campaign finance reform. We're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue looking at what you and I can do to transform from a death economy to a life economy. There's something we can do, people, but we got to do it together. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy, with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can also check us out on our YouTube channels. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271. 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages or calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're also coming to you live on Cable Bahamas Channel 974, and you can download the Global 99.5 FM app and check us out there. By radio, 99.5 on the FM dial here in New Providence. And a huge welcome, as always, to our audience coming all the way from Grand Bahama. You are most welcome here. Okay, the show today is a follow-up from last week, Thursday's show. If you didn't see that show, please go and watch it or listen to it at any one of those platforms I just mentioned. Last week's show was all about the revelations contained in a book called The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins. And 2 chapters of that book are dedicated to what you and I can do to fight back. We need to do something to fight back, people, because at the end of the day, you and I are the ones who are going to be left holding the bag. So we better get involved in this fight and stop looking for a hero to go stand out there alone, because as we know, many of them who we elect, they ain't no hero. They ain't got no backbone to save their life. And so you and I need to come together and help to prop them up to make the right decisions. And this is not any kind of political statement. This is just a reality of where we are and where we have been now for generations. Okay? So here's another clip. This one is talking about what if instead of buying products, we started buying services? What would that look like? And how could that encourage a circular or life economy?
Our current linear economy relies on cheap, easily available resources and fossil energy. We take, make, use, and dispose, eating into a finite supply of materials and generating waste. What's more, resources and energy are getting increasingly tough and expensive to exploit. So can it work long term? This is where the idea of a performance-based circular economy comes in. What if we didn't buy the goods themselves, but the service? What if we favoured access and performance? In this model, manufacturers or retailers would remain the owners of the products. Maintenance and repairs becoming part of the deal. Even better if running costs, like electricity, were included. For companies, it makes sense to retain precious materials when their future availability is uncertain and when prices are forecast to rise. Premature obsolescence would be phased out, rather than designed in. Buying expensive goods up front would no longer be a necessity. It already happens with mobile phones and cars. Why not fridges, washing machines, power tools and so on? Of course, there is a wide variety of needs, of individuals, of businesses. This is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. Hundreds of different solutions can be designed with tailored contracts. Variety, freedom, flexibility, and frequent upgrades. Take car-sharing schemes. We can either use vehicles owned by manufacturers, car-sharing companies, or sign up to a local person-to-person network. Communication technologies mean that our world is fast becoming a platform where we find, exchange services, or even remarket goods. It's all about access. And it works for homes and offices too. Couldn't a contract for a number of copies, or washes from a high-end appliance, be more beneficial for both providers and users? Better service at a better price. Companies win too. Materials extraction and production can represent up to 75% of the energy used to make goods. So if remanufacturing were introduced at scale, it would dramatically reduce our energy needs. At systems level, this would help the switch to renewable sources. A system that works long-term by designing out waste and keeping valuable products in the loop, and maintaining or remanufacturing them, creating jobs in the process. Shifting to a performance model is part of the solution when it comes to accelerating the transition to a circular economy. There's a world of opportunities for businesses as well as individuals, and the shift has already begun.
So bottom line is, we're talking about creativity, creative thinking, moving away from doing things the way we've always done it because we've always done it that way. And thinking about how we can move or transform our economies from this death economy where it's just, use and, abuse, throw out, and repeat, where what we do as individuals, as corporations, as countries is more sustainable and better for our own pockets as well as better for planet Earth. It is possible. It just takes some degree of creativity. So the next thing that you can do, as recommended by John Perkins in the book, The New Confessions of an Economic Hitman, avoid debt. Take positive actions to pay off credit card charges as much as possible, and other debt without incurring interest payments. So, if you have a lot of debt, it affects your psychological well-being. You're worrying about how I can pay off this debt. Am I going to lose this home? Are they going to come and repossess the car? How I can pay these school fees, all this kind of stuff. As much as possible, avoid debt. Try to stay current with payments, etc., as much as possible. And I know it's hard, especially if you've been out of work for a long time and, things happen. But if we all find a way to move towards this life economy, making it easier for people to survive and thrive, then it would become easier for everyone to avoid that debt. So as much as possible, take positive action to try to pay off your debts, because at the end of the day, not only does it free up finances that could be put towards better use, but it also gives you a better frame of mind. And Lord knows we all need that. Next, make heroes and icons of people who are working to create a better world. Honor the founders and managers of institutions and movements discussed in Numbers 1 through 9 that we discussed earlier in the show. The visible and behind the scenes people who create an environmentally sustainable, resource regenerative, socially just world, who help starving people feed themselves, not just, get them a fish to eat and then tomorrow they're hungry again, but teaching them how to fish, in other words, who promote better businesses and living models rather than the CEOs of irresponsible corporations, overpaid athletes, or celebrities. Make heroes and icons of people who are working to create a better world. So, what can students do? Number one, learn all you can about what's really going on in the world. Understand that the mindsets created by the stories we are told and that we tell each other, and the distorted history of humanity that is taught to our children are extremely powerful. So look to the alternative media for the story behind the story. And nowadays that's not so hard to do. But you have to want that knowledge to seek it. So don't just, be satisfied with what appears to be, but do some digging, do some research. It's so easy to do nowadays. It's at your fingertips. You just have to want to know, and make the effort to find out. Number two, question authority. I repeat, question authority. Know that there are many conspiracies intent on deceiving you. Question and stand up to them every chance you get. By doing so, you will change the mindsets and a new story will evolve. And young people, especially, you have the energy to do it. You have the resources through new technologies that you all master. Question authority. Make them accountable for what they say and do. Question. Don't just accept any crap that somebody shoves down your throat. Question authority. Next, understand your passions. What do you most enjoy in life? Focus on activities that bring you joy and on developing a deeper appreciation of and knowledge about subjects that most appeal to you. Determine to live your life according to your passions. Recognize that the most important education you can get involves self-knowledge and a commitment to living your bliss. Number four, that students can do. Seek out others who are looking to change the story. Join or develop communities of people who are intent on helping each other rise to new levels of understanding and living in ways that are more connected to each other and to our living earth. Number five, speak out. Help other people who do not fit the definition of number four above to understand the deceptions we're fed. Teach your contemporaries and let your elders know that your generation is not going to be hoodwinked. Now, let me just stick a pin in that right there. It's important when you do this that you don't just shoot off on the mouth without doing your research. Because, oh Lord, many of y'all people, y'all good at that. Everybody got an opinion. Ain't nobody taking the time to do no kind of research or to learn nothing, but everybody got an opinion. And some of y'all coming strong and wrong. So we're not just talking about, being loud because you could be loud. No, do your research. Understand what you're talking about. Learn more about the subject that you have so much to say about. So that when you come strong, you ain't coming wrong. Because some of y'all believe that just because your voice is loud, that means you're right. No. You could be very wrong. So do the research, do the work, and then help to change the narrative. Okay? All right, next, take a stand against debt. Do not accept burdensome student loans or credit card and other debt. Join organizations that help students avoid debts and or get out from under existing debts. Next, work for your passions. Go to work only for organizations and businesses that are consistent with your passions and philosophies. If you can't find any such jobs, create your own. You're all good at that. Take the routine of the self-starter, the entrepreneur, and refuse to be caught in work patterns that deplete your energy and creativity. Now, I ain't got to tell some of y'all this. Y'all are very, very good at that. Things that we can only dream of, y'all doing on an everyday basis. Kudos to you, those of you who are. And encourage your other peers to move away from the negativity to positivity, to create, as opposed to looking, for a handout. Use your brain, create. Next, number 8, join organizations. Participate in nonprofit and other non-governmental organizations, societies, movements that support the things you feel most passionate about. And there are many out there. And take action. Become a part of these communities. Offer them your creativity and talents or money to support positive change. Next, make videos or films aimed at ending the death economy and building a life economy. These could focus on whatever most appeals to you: human, animal, plant rights, consumer or social movements, economics, politics, history, science fiction stories about the future. There's a limitless number of other subjects that you can embrace. So use that smartphone to do something smart. Make videos or films. Flood TikTok with something positive, something that's going to build and uplift. All right. These are things that students can do. Let's see. I have a message coming in on WhatsApp. Let's see what that says. Okay, where did it go? All right, maybe that was on the Messenger instead of WhatsApp, because I don't see it on WhatsApp. All right, I'm going to look for that message. In the meantime, let's take this break. When we come back, we're going to look at things that retired people can do. Yeah, just because you're retired don't mean that you need to just fade off into the sunset. No, we all need to be a part of this fight. So on the other side of the break, let's look at things that retired people can do to transform or help transform us from this death economy to a life economy. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, fuel, track life, tough, rough racing, velocity, mud, all terrain, and low profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back to Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. We're going to continue now with our list about what you can do to transform from a death economy to a life economy. Before we dive back into the list, I want to read a couple of comments. This one coming in by message on our WhatsApp line. It says, when is Global 99.5 FM station going to start doing nightly rebroadcasts of your talk show? Now you asking for other local shows, but you call on shows on other stations. Nobody does that. Now if you want them to rebroadcast shows on this station late in the evening, yes. But don't look for us to rebroadcast nobody else's show from another station. That's just not gonna happen. But the owner of this station is listening, so I'm sure this is something she may consider. It says some times like today, I and other folks miss your show when one gets so busy at times. Some folks have no internet access for YouTube, Facebook, or other online medium platforms. Okay, point well taken. So like I said, the owner of the station is listening, so I'm sure she'll take it into consideration, where at some point during the evening we rebroadcast the shows from the day. The next comment is coming from Facebook. It says, it's important to instill a long-lasting thirst for the right kind of knowledge within our children. The establishment would have us not question authority, and they also want to keep us intellectually lazy. We must fight against this. Exactly, Lafette. Exactly. Okay, last few minutes of the show. Again, I'm reading from the new Confessions of an Economic Hitman, things that you and I can do to transform from a death economy that the powers that be have created to a life economy. And these are things that retired folks can do. Just because you have left the work field doesn't mean that you must go out and disappear. And that's what no. You still have a role to play. So here are things that you can do. Number one, you can't be fired, so rattle the cage. What they can do? They can't fire you. You don't stop working. What they can do? So get involved in activities that might have frightened you before because you was worried about losing your job. Don't be afraid to express yourself and even be outrageous. Number two, take action. Follow your heart and get involved in causes that appeal to you. Avoid the temptation to believe that you are past your prime or are unable to offer something meaningful to the world. This is so important. Or to become distracted by self-absorbed activities. Enjoy leisure activities such as golf, cards, tennis, sailing, watching TV, but also understand that a greater pleasure comes from offering what you have learned in life to bigger causes and creating a better world for future generations. You still have a role to play, people. You still have a role to play. Next, mentor younger people. You have a great deal to offer, whether you are a carpenter, a teacher, a health worker, a gardener, a business executive, or whatever. Recognize that your experiences are precious and can help those who follow. Elders in indigenous communities traditionally have been honored for their wisdom. Honor yourself as an elder and teach young people, those who will listen, to make every job, every activity about nourishing life and a life economy. Number 4, demand responsible investments. Insist that your pension funds, mutual funds, and other investments be dedicated to serving the public interest and creating an environmentally sustainable, resource regenerative, socially just world. Let the funds and corporations where you own stock know that you want them to be successful and that this means participating in the creation of a life economy. Number 5, participate in or create campaigns that affect government, politics, and corporate policies. Run for office or support candidates who do. Join consumer movements or take whatever path draws you to be a full participant in the democratic process. Realize that this is not just part of being a true advocate of democracy, is also deeply rewarding and fun. Number 6, share your story. Tell others, especially younger people, about your life and the world you grew up in and how it worked and where it failed and what needs to be done now to create societies that are resilient and that honor all life. Do this in a small family or community gatherings, as well as before larger bodies such as service clubs, through writing, film, art, music, whatever vehicles work best for you. Start a blog. Tap your unique gifts and tap into your unique gifts and talents. Okay? And for those of you who are in between the student and the retirement age, you can get involved as well. Be aware of what's going on in your community and around the world. Dig beneath the surface. Don't allow yourself to be duped by the media, politicians, corporations, or governments. Develop communication skills to help everyone around you gain greater awareness of what's going on, and realize that being dogmatic or judgmental usually does not work. Okay? Demand economic and tax reforms, such as accounting practices that internalize costs, strict oversight of big banks, tax laws that force the wealthy and corporations to pay their fair share, and that encourage socially and environmentally beneficial technologies. Vote only for candidates who support these. Buy only from businesses that comply with and promote such reforms, and let the candidates and businesses know. Write letters to editors and blogs, post on Facebook, Twitter, and so on. Next, form or join consumer movements, nonprofits, and non-governmental organizations that promote businesses that serve a public interest. I'm going through these really quickly. Next, help form and or support community-based businesses, such as consumer co-ops, community corporations, local public banks, worker-owned businesses. Next, join demonstrations, protests, and worker, student, civil movements that fight for better social and environmental conditions. Remember now, they can't fire you. You don't retire if you're retired. But be willing to come out and support movements, actively participate, or give them financial and social media support. Next, develop an awareness of your own bias around race, religion, financial status, immigration, gender, and other issues, and work toward overcoming those biases. Teach younger people to be activists with soul. Help them to understand that democracy is based on being informed and educated about what is going on in the world and taking inspired action. And finally, if you work for a corporation or own stock, speak out. Make it known that you want the company where you work or where you own stock to be successful, and that successful business of the future will be those that nourish a healthy, resilient, natural environment and that contribute to the joy, harmony, and equality of their employees and the communities they serve. All right. That's all we have time for. I hope you got something out of this today. But there is something that you and I can do to help to transform from this death economy that has been created for us to a life economy. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us to get involved. We don't need another hero. You need to be the hero that you've been looking for. Let's do this, people. Tomorrow we have another Wellness Wednesday show where we're going to be looking at a matter of importance to your health and well-being. Be sure to tune in. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, God's Spirit.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the